Good morning, happy new year. I'm freaking Ken and welcome to this channel's first ever reaction video. Today we'll be reacting to Red Signal Archives Analog Horror. Without further ado and not put it along any longer, let's dive right on into the video.
This message is issued by the Emergency Coordination Center for the Tri-State Area. Please listen closely and follow the instructions that follow. This is not a drill. We are issuing this emergency broadcast regarding unusual canine behavior patterns that have emerged across multiple counties in the tri-state area over the past 11 days. If your dog begins producing human-like laughter sounds, do not attempt to interact with the animal and follow the safety protocols outlined in this message.
So when they say human-like laughter, are we talking like ha-ha, or are they talking like, some freaky, deaky type stuff, or are we talking about like a normal hyena laugh? Because a hyena sounds like a human laughter. So I need to be more specific of the type of laughter.
The situation began on March 3rd, when our dispatch center started receiving calls about dogs exhibiting what callers described as strange vocalizations. Initially, these reports were isolated to rural areas in the northern counties, but the pattern has since expanded to suburban and urban communities. What started as occasional reports of unusual barking has developed into a coordinated phenomenon affecting 47 confirmed households across 3 counties. The first documented incident occurred at 11:47 p.m. on March 3rd, when Sarah Martinez of Granger Hill contacted emergency services. She reported that her 3-year-old golden retriever, Rex, had been producing sounds that resembled human laughter for approximately 20 minutes.
20 minutes of human-sounding laughter from a dog. If my dog started laughing, now let me explain something. I am in no way endorsing animal abuse. I don't want PETA behind me. I don't want you guys going in the comments, oh, why'd you do that to the little precious dog? I don't want you guys to John Wick me, okay? But what I'm saying to you is, if I heard my dog, now my dog is a little Shih Tzu Doberman Collie mix. If I heard this little thing laughing for 20 minutes straight, I'm kicking him straight out the freaking window. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
The responding officer initially categorized this as a non-emergency animal control matter. However, by March 6th, similar reports were flooding our dispatch centers at an unprecedented rate. Emergency responders have documented consistent patterns in these incidents. The affected dogs appear physically healthy, but exhibit behavioral changes that progress through distinct stages. Our veterinary consultants have examined multiple animals and found no medical explanations for these vocalizations. Standard diagnostic procedures reveal normal respiratory, neurological, and vocal cord function in all examined cases. A couple on Granger Hill reported the first extended encounter with this phenomenon.
So, let me get this straight. They took the laughing human dog to the vet, and they found nothing wrong with it. That's out the window. Out the window, or if the dog just started to stare at me, I'm leaving the house. I'm getting myself out the door. Okay, I'm out. He can have the house. He can have the house. Because I took you to the vet, and they're saying, oh, he's perfectly fine. Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. It's nothing to worry about. The dog was laughing for 20 minutes. He sounded like me for 20 minutes. No way, man.
Sarah and Michael Martinez had been watching television when Rex began what Sarah initially described as weird whimpering. The sounds started around 11:30 p.m. and continued intermittently through the night.
I had this happen at night? Bet. Gone. No, absolutely.
Michael said the dog seemed restless, pacing between the living room and kitchen while making these unusual vocalizations. At first, I thought he was just having a bad dream, Sarah told our investigators. But then he started making these sounds while he was wide awake, looking right at us. It wasn't barking or whining. It sounded almost like someone trying not to laugh out loud. Rex continued this behavior for 3 consecutive nights. The sounds became more distinct and recognizable as human-like laughter. Sarah described feeling increasingly uncomfortable as the dog would make these sounds while maintaining direct eye contact with family members.
Not only is he laughing, he's looking at me as he does it. That's as if I were to do an entire video of me just wouldn't you be uncomfortable? You'd be freaking out. You'd be freaking all the way out because you're like, this is unsettling. Why are you laughing? What is so funny? Why are you? I'm about to put you outside. Matter of fact, no, I'm about to go and get some milk.
On the 3rd night, Rex positioned himself near the back door while laughing, appearing to look beyond the glass into the darkened yard. He was laughing at something outside, Michael reported. Not with us, but at something we couldn't see, like he was having a conversation with someone in the backyard. Later that night, more calls came in from the same general area. The Henderson family, living 2 miles from the Martinez household, experienced nearly identical behavior from their 4-year-old German Shepherd, Duke. James Henderson described waking to sounds of laughter coming from the kitchen around 2:15 a.m. Duke was sitting by the back door, producing clear, human-like laughter sounds while staring into the yard. My wife thought one of our teenagers was up late watching comedy videos, James said. But when we investigated, it was Duke making those sounds. Perfect human laughter, but coming from our dog. The Henderson family observed Duke's behavior for 45 minutes before the dog finally stopped and returned to normal activities. However, Duke repeated this pattern for the next 4 nights, always beginning around 2 a.m., and always positioning himself near exterior doors or windows. In another case, the Riverside neighborhood experienced what witnesses described as a coordinated event. Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. on March 8th, 7 different households reported their dogs simultaneously beginning the laughter behavior. Maria Santos called emergency services when her border collie, Luna, began laughing while standing on the back porch. Luna was outside, and she started making these laughing sounds toward the tree line, Maria explained. But here's what really scared me. I could hear other dogs in the distance making the same sounds.
Nah, fam. No. They coordinated laughing. And not just at any random night. I mean, 8 o'clock at night is terrible, but you get around the hours of 1 and 3, and you all are laughing. We already know, I mean, I'm not superstitious, but I am a very spiritual person. I'm going to let you know that 3 a.m., if you don't know, is called the witching hour. And if I see my dog, my little dog, laughing at my back door at 3 a.m., I'm calling a priest.
Like they were all laughing together at the same joke. Neighbors confirmed hearing multiple dogs across the Riverside area producing laughter sounds in what appeared to be a coordinated pattern. The sounds would start with one dog, then spread to others in a wave-like progression through the neighborhood. This pattern continued for approximately 2 hours before all affected animals stopped simultaneously. The situation escalated when the Kowalski family on Pine Street reported their golden retriever, Buddy, exhibiting more advanced behaviors. After 3 nights of the standard laughter pattern, Buddy began responding to sounds that the family could not hear. Patricia Kowalski described watching Buddy sit in the backyard, producing laughter sounds, then pausing as if listening to a response. He would laugh, then get quiet like someone was talking back to him, Patricia said. Then he'd laugh again, but differently, like he was responding to what he heard. The family recorded Buddy's behavior using their phone camera. The audio reveals clear human-like laughter interspersed with periods of silence. During these quiet moments, Buddy's ears would perk up and his head would tilt, displaying classic listening behaviors. The family could hear nothing during these intervals, but Buddy appeared to be receiving some form of communication. Most disturbing was what happened when the Kowalski family allowed Buddy outside during one of these episodes. The dog immediately walked toward the wooded area behind their property, continuing to produce laughter sounds while moving with apparent purpose. Patricia called for Buddy to return, but the dog ignored her commands and disappeared into the tree line. Despite extensive searches by family members and local authorities, Buddy has not been found.
I don't care. I don't care. You want to go ahead and venture off into the woods laughing after I call you and say, "Hey, Bandit, Din, come here, Bandit," and you want to ignore me and laugh? Bet. I'm changing the locks. Doggy door, access denied.
We have gathered these common stages that appear in all documented cases. Stage 1 involves restlessness and unusual positioning near exterior doors or windows. Dogs will pace, whine softly, and show signs of agitation typically beginning between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. This stage usually lasts between 1 and 3 hours before progressing. Stage 2 is the onset of laughter sounds. The vocalizations begin as quiet chuckling or snickering, but become increasingly loud and distinct. Dogs maintain alertness during this stage, often making eye contact with family members while laughing. This stage typically lasts between 30 minutes and 2 hours. Stage 3 involves responsive behavior. Dogs begin pausing their laughter as if listening to unheard communication. They may move between different locations in the house or yard, always maintaining focus on exterior areas. Family members report feeling like the dog is having a conversation with something outside. This stage can last anywhere from 1 to 6 hours. Stage 4 is the most concerning. Dogs begin moving toward exterior exits, showing strong motivation to go outside. They may scratch
And you can go.
at doors, whine, or exhibit anxiety when prevented from leaving. Your dog may begin pacing near doors while continuing the laughter behavior. If allowed outside during this stage, affected animals consistently move toward wooded or isolated areas. You must never allow your dog outside during stages 3 or 4. We have documented 3 cases where families permitted their dogs to go outside during these advanced stages.
You doggone right. What makes you think I want to have this dog in my house? Laughing hysterically, talking to something that I can't see. I don't know what he's looking at. I don't know what he's talking to, and I'm not in on the joke, so I can't laugh. He wants to go, go ahead. Go. See you later, bye. No. He ran away. That's how I explained to my kid. He ran away.
In each case, the animals disappeared into wooded areas and have not been recovered despite extensive search efforts. The Thompson family lost their Labrador Max on March 9th after allowing him outside during stage 4. Max immediately ran toward the forested area near their property, producing laughter sounds as he moved. The family followed but lost sight of Max within minutes. Search teams found no trace of the animal despite thorough investigation of the area. Similarly, the Chen family's beagle, Oscar, vanished after being let outside during an episode on March 11th. Oscar had been exhibiting stage 3 behavior for approximately 4 hours when the family decided to allow him outside, hoping the fresh air would calm him. Oscar walked directly toward the tree line behind their property and disappeared. The family reported hearing his laughter sounds growing fainter as he moved deeper into the woods. If your dog exhibits these behaviors, you must keep the animal inside at all times. Secure all exterior doors and windows. Do not attempt to comfort or interact with your dog during episodes, as this may prolong the behavior. Remove other pets from the area, as the behavior appears to be contagious among animals in close proximity.
Now it's contagious, so now I gotta deal with my cat laughing hysterically. Fam, let me explain this to you. If I heard this on the radio or even through my phone, saw a text saying, do not let your dog go outside if he's exhibiting these behaviors, and lock all your doors, I'm saying, screw that. If I hear that dog, he's gone. I'm letting him outside. He's chipped anyway. If he gets lost, I'm gonna be able to find him. Matter of fact, I don't even think I want to find him because I don't even want to know where he would go. If he's gone somewhere that he just disappears and I'm not meant to find him, then I'm not meant to find him, even with the chip, which I evidently in this scenario, these dogs aren't chipped because they said that, we can't find him. So obviously they don't have a chip in them, so you can't do a low jack on them. You can't GPS find them and locate them. And I say again, if you do have a chip in the doggone dog, you probably don't want to go and find where he is. I mean, I get it. I love my dog. I do. But if he wants to go and be with the other dogs, and they want to have a little dog community, canine lives matter.
Do not record or photograph your dog during these episodes. Several families have reported that recording devices malfunction during the laughter periods, producing only static or distorted audio. The Martinez family's security camera system experienced complete failure during Rex's episodes, showing only empty frames when the dog should have been visible. Create a safe room.
I can't record the dog because he'll disappear from the camera, even if he's in a room where there's just a camera. And like there's nowhere for the dog to hide. He's just sitting there at the back door. The camera's at the back door, and it just records a laughing sound where the dog should be. I'm standing there looking at the dog, and I'm looking at my camera, and he's not there. Get out of here. He's gone. I don't care.
In your home where you can secure your dog if the behavior escalates. This room should have no exterior windows or doors. Remove any items your dog might use to harm itself. The room should be comfortable but completely isolated from outside access. If your dog reaches stage 4 and shows determination to go outside, contact emergency services immediately. Do not attempt to physically restrain a large dog showing this behavior, as several families have reported their pets becoming aggressive when prevented from leaving during this stage. Our investigation has revealed that this phenomenon is spreading beyond the original affected area. Reports are now coming from communities up to 50 miles from the initial incidents. The pattern suggests that affected dogs may be somehow communicating with animals in surrounding areas, creating an expanding network of unusual behavior. Emergency dispatch centers have logged over 200 calls related to this phenomenon in the past 72 hours. The reports are following a consistent geographic pattern, moving outward from the initial incident locations. Communities that have not yet experienced these behaviors should prepare for potential incidents. Veterinary facilities across the tri-state area have been alerted to this situation. However, medical examination of affected animals reveals no physical abnormalities. Blood work, neurological tests, and behavioral assessments show normal results. The animals appear to be in perfect health outside of the laughter episodes. More concerning is the discovery that affected dogs seem to be exhibiting this behavior in response to external stimuli that humans cannot detect. Audio analysis of recordings from affected households reveals no unusual sounds during the periods when dogs appear to be listening to something outside. However, the dogs' responses suggest they are receiving some form of communication. 3 animal behavior specialists have attempted to study affected dogs during episodes. In each case, the specialists' own dogs began exhibiting the same behaviors within 48 hours of exposure. This suggests the phenomenon may be spreading through direct contact between animals. Environmental testing of areas where dogs have disappeared has revealed no unusual readings for radiation, chemical contamination, or biological agents. The wooded areas appear normal in all respects. However, search teams report an unusual absence of typical forest sounds in these locations. No bird songs, insect activity, or small animal movements have been detected in areas where affected dogs were last seen.
So, normal woodland creatures are not where they are. Like, there's no, in this wooded area, behind these people's houses, there are no birds to be chirping. There are no deers. There's no bugs. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And the forest appears normal. How does that appear normal? You don't find a bug, a bird. Okay, I can give you a bird. Deers. Okay, they screw off anywhere, but you don't see a bug. Not one insect. No, there's something wrong with that forest, dude. There's something wrong with that forest. That forest gotta go. But I'm also kind of a little bit taken aback because they also said that there's no chemical, there's no radio waves, there's no nothing. There's no outside influence that's influencing these animals, these dogs, to act this way. So what on earth is going on? What did Phineas and Ferb do in the tri-state area to get these dogs to act this way? Look, they say tri-state area, so I immediately went Phineas and Ferb. Well, they're always doing something, okay?
The silence in these areas
Him or Doofenshmirtz. Them or Doofenshmirtz.
extends beyond normal wildlife activity. Electronic devices, including radios and GPS units, experience interference when search teams enter the regions where dogs have disappeared. Communication equipment produces only static, and compass readings become unreliable. We want to emphasize that this situation...
So that's something, because that has something to do with the Earth itself, because if a compass doesn't work, that means that the magnetic poles from the North and South poles are not responsive. So that's something wrong with that whole entire area and its magnetism. Because if you know anything about a compass, it basically works off of the magnetic waves coming from the Earth in order for you to go north, south, east, or west. But if the compass doesn't work, then that's something natural. I mean, it's unnatural, but it's natural.
is being treated as a public safety emergency. The safety protocols outlined in this message are based on documented patterns and must be followed precisely. The phenomenon appears to be accelerating, with new cases reported daily across an expanding geographic area. If you live in the tri-state area and own a dog, you must monitor your pet closely for signs of the behaviors described in this message. Early intervention and proper containment procedures can prevent the loss of your animal. Do not ignore early warning signs or assume the behavior will resolve naturally. The Emergency Coordination Center is working with veterinary professionals, animal behaviorists, and public safety officials to understand and contain this situation. However, until we can determine the cause of these behaviors, all pet owners must take responsibility for securing their animals and preventing further spread of the phenomenon. We are particularly concerned about the coordinated nature of recent incidents. The simultaneous onset of behaviors across multiple households suggests that affected dogs may be responding to a common external stimulus. This pattern indicates that individual containment measures may not be sufficient to prevent the spread of the phenomenon. Remember that this behavior appears to be contagious among dogs. If your neighbors report affected animals, you must take immediate precautions with your own pets. The phenomenon seems to spread more rapidly in areas with high dog populations, making suburban neighborhoods particularly vulnerable. The investigation into this matter is ongoing. We are working with federal agencies and research institutions to understand the nature of these behaviors. However, public safety requires immediate action based on the patterns we have already documented. Do not attempt to investigate wooded areas where affected dogs have disappeared. These locations are off-limits to civilian personnel. Professional search teams have been deployed to these areas, but members of the public must not enter these regions under any circumstances. If you hear sounds of laughter or other unusual vocalizations coming from wooded areas near your property, do not investigate. Report these incidents immediately to emergency services.
Who would be stupid enough to go and investigate? I mean, I know they said earlier that they were looking for the dogs, but they were in a group. But who individual, one person, will go and investigate a group of dogs who have come together collectively to go into an area where they don't come back from? You just unalived yourself at that point. You just said that, look, I don't like being here anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and go out in the woods. My dog. I'm gonna go see why he's going to laugh. Can you imagine that? Hey, look, Bob's dog was acting funny and he was laughing, and next thing you know, he went into the woods and we haven't seen him again. Oh, well, good for Bob. I'm not gonna go look for him. I'll be praying for him. My condolences to his family, but I'm not going in there. Not without backup. Not without a weapon. I'm gonna need something, because them woods ain't woods. That's probably an entity, or the woods is probably a big animal itself disguised as woods. That's something to think about. Yeah, that's a good theory. Yeah, good idea.
Do not allow curiosity to override safety protocols. The phenomenon shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, the frequency of reported incidents has increased dramatically over the past 48 hours. We are now receiving reports from communities that had no previous contact with affected areas, suggesting the spread is accelerating beyond our initial projections. Most importantly, if your dog begins producing human-like laughter sounds, you must not respond to or interact with these vocalizations. Several families have reported feeling compelled to laugh along with their pets, or to respond as if the dog were speaking. Resist these urges completely. The laughter sounds produced by affected dogs have been described as unnaturally compelling. Family members report feeling drawn to respond, or to treat the sounds as if they were coming from a human family member. This psychological response must be actively resisted. This emergency broadcast will be repeated every 4 hours until the situation is resolved. Additional safety information will be provided as it becomes available. Stay tuned to this frequency for updates and new safety protocols. If you live in the tri-state area and have not yet experienced these phenomena with your pets, remember that preparation is your best defense. Secure your home, monitor your animals closely, and report any unusual behaviors immediately. The silence that follows these episodes may be the most dangerous time. When affected dogs stop laughing, they enter the final stage where they attempt to reach exterior areas. This is when you must be most vigilant and most prepared to implement containment procedures. Remember, if your dog laughs like a human, something is very wrong. Your pet's safety and your family's safety depend on following these protocols exactly as outlined.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to be vigilant in letting that dog outside and let him do whatever in the world he wants to do. I'm not going to contain him. I'm not going to restrain him. And I'm definitely not going to laugh with him. I don't care how human he sounds. He can go. He can go. But what would you do in this situation? How would you respond if your dog sitting right next to you right now, and I'm pretty sure he or she is, if you even have a dog, but pretty sure he or she is sitting right there in the room with you, and if they began to laugh, what would you do? But anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to check out Red Archives channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.